How about the jingle singers have anything to say about this?
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Your old Tube Radio Network, where the jingle singers are tripping the Vox tonight, which is a good thing. Hello, radio, the old Tube Radio Network, such that it is on the air. I think the video is up, yeah. The audio is up. Someone said that they could actually hear me. The skip has died down. That doesn't mean it won't come back. And we are here to promote the use, distribute information about the citizen band radios of yesteryear with a lot of those tubes inside, glowing in the dark. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controls to sit in the air chair for, since the mid-1960s or something. No, the mid-1980s is when we started this on the air, Channel 11, a place to kind of come down from wherever you might be. And there were a lot of channels beaconing and busy at that time to talk on your tube radio, unhampered. Put away the Pacers and the Midlands and the Radio Shacks and the Unidens and bring out the good old tube stuff. And we are still doing that. So Charlie says, okay, yeah, I've got to explain. I'm out of uniform tonight because I had, yesterday I had a close encounter, in fact, more than a close encounter, of the surgical kind with the dermatologist. And so there are many sutures and things in certain areas here, and it was very difficult, nay impossible, to put on the tie and all that stuff without massive discomfort. So here we are. We'll take some early check-ins before we get started. I am listening. If you'd like to get checked in, over.
Break OTR.
The break OTR way out there, north of me, I believe. Go ahead.
Copenhagen Pier 61.
All right, 61, Dino, you are sounding good, and we've got you checked in on the 15th day of February 2025. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, sir.
All right, who else would like an early check-in, over?
56.
56, just for kicks, and we could probably get a few of those. 5, 6, you are checked in. Sound looking good.
Thank you, Dennis. Dennis, how about that 650?
650, 650, we'll get them both.
Thank you.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
I-1 check.
51 out, near beautiful Sanger Town. Let me find the right page, and I will put the X in the square where it goes. 305, sounding good, and you're checked in.
Dennis, have a good evening.
11 mobile.
And the mobile, wait, you're sounding it. Tell us about the mobile. Did it fit? Did you have to drill some holes? How's it working?
Well, I've got another striker, but this one's a little shorter, front to back. It's about 3 inches shorter. So it fits in there like it was made for it. I always have a striker. I mount it, it kind of hangs out a little bit, but this one mounts flush. It's beautiful. I like it.
All right, well, it sounds good. Putting in a good signal. The audio is good, so no problem. We got you checked in, and sounds like a keeper.
All right, buddy. Hey, 53 was out there, too. And see ya.
All right, thanks. And 53, that would be the Legend, I think.
You betcha.
All right, get to 53 checked in as well. And Charles, what do you got? Charlie's got something. Oh, I got to get it. All right, he says I look drab. Charlie says that. He says I don't look good. Wait a minute, no, I look good. He says I look good. It says drab. So he gave me something for some color, to add some color. What do you think? How's that? All right, if you're not watching the video, I think I just got a what is this, a lay? I just got a lay from Charlie. All right, add a little color to the mix. That's the best I can do tonight. Were I to try my best. All right, let me say, what am I doing? Oh, we're starting on the directed net roll call. I got to bring up the page here, and we'll get going. SWL00, checked in. No, Cornbread. I saw you out there earlier. Cornbread is there. Get the 00. Get the number 1. Get the number 2. OBP is on the video chat somewhere if you're up on that video chat. So let him know that he is 9 pounds and good modulation in Chestnut and Herndon. Somebody wants to know if I've been to Hawaii. No, this is just to add some color because we're out of uniform tonight. SWL3, I've got a check-in for Rob, and he says I'm off microphone. So what are we going to do then? Let's do that. That should work a little bit better. Next is SWL5. Is Levon back from Old Radio Night where they have... Old Radio Night has like 4 radios stacked up. I got to find out what's going on when we get to JT tonight. And I'll check and see who else is out there tonight. The Echolink link is up. Looks like Tony's linked up. Let's go to SWL7.
Oh, good evening to one and all. This is SWL number 7 checking in.
7 checking in and sounding good as always. Your X is in the square. Over.
And thank you.
Break out there.
And Breako Terra, go ahead. Over.
24 checking in.
24. All right. We will get you checked in there, Joseph. X in the square. Thanks. Next, we got 7. Let's go out to Sanger. I'm not sure if Dirt Dog is in the air chair tonight, but we will find out if 982 Dirt Dog is listening. Over.
Hello, guys. This is Dirt Dog 982 checking in through phone.
All right, I know we're going to have a good net tonight. 982 on page 1 and X in the square sounding great from Sanger. Take another transmission on the microphonium. Thanks for joining us tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you for checking in, Mr. Dirt Dog, SWL number 9. If you turn the page up, it looks like 6, but it's still SWL number 9. Let's go to 10 and 30. Out there where it's probably cold and snowy and all sorts of stuff. So hopefully the antennas and the coax are up and okay. SW11, Mr. Cornbread, and Dapper Dan. That's 00 as well. Looking dapper, feeling dapper. In fact, I think they ran to the Corner Dapper store. Put an X in the square for Dan and D-Dan. The old Tube Radio Network. The Glowing in the Dark radios follow this directed net roll call. So if you've got a radio, warm it up now. If you don't and you're listening in, stand by. You might hear one of your favorite manufacturers, maybe something you've never heard before. Maybe you have 17 of them, and you're just waiting for the number 18 to show up. Let me check in Neil while he is here on my screen, and I won't have to look for you as it scrolls away. On the scene, cold and rainy. It is like really cold again in the Midwest. Maybe some snow on Wednesday. Southern end of northern storms. Yeah, I know Kansas was saying they're going to have -10 or something. Skip is pretty jammed in on LSB. Even though the sunspot numbers are low, the SFI is still high, and 10 and 11 has been pretty good. We had Skip just up until before the net, and I know they had some Australia coming in on ditch banks last night, so maybe at the gray line we'll hear something. We never know. Anyway, thank you, Neil. On 26.915, opened up for a little bit. I think that's, what is that, AM or FM down there? Probably not sideband. So, Neil, out there in Fayetteville, Kakalaki, Sand Hills, looking good. We've got you checked in. Back to page 1, down the list. Were I to find page 1. We were at 11, 12, 13, SWL 13. Let me see if I can find Mikey on my list. Hello to, who's checking in? The unknown SWL, Belfast, Maine, Sacramento, Tracy, California, Warfield, Kentucky, Plymouth, Minnesota, Centerville, Virginia, Fresno, Stinson, West Virginia, and way up there on the balcony, Middletown, Ohio. And 4 minutes ago, there's Mikey right there. Let me put the... No, I haven't been doing the chart here. Let me get some... Mike checked in 13. On the list, it should say... Oh, I'm not even on the right page. Let me go to the control page, and then you should see the confirmation check-ins. Yeah, right above my proverbial Ed. Let's go to SWL 14 out in Sanger.
Oh, howdy, Dennis. SWL 14 checking in.
All right, big signal sounding good. Not sure. Do I have the preamp on tonight? No. Oh, wow. I'll have to adjust my squelch, but everybody was sounding good. Good signal, sounding good. We'll look forward to some radios. I've got a couple of spots for you here.
10-4, I got a few warming up, so looking forward to this evening.
All right, just set my RF gain level since I added the preamp. Next in line is Hans out there in Copenhagen, SWL 15, Alpha 173. And somehow somebody said that we might be, California and Denmark might be partners here coming up. So maybe it won't be so hard to talk to you on Skipland. I don't know. Cold and snowy. Well, we're not matching you here in the Central Valley. We're cold and rainy, but there is snow across the states here a lot, and you know that's what one might expect, sort of in the middle of winter. It's not quite spring yet. Direct net roll calls where we are at SWL 16 Charlie. I thank you for the extra color, and I think we'll be okay next week. I think I'll be able to jump into the seersucker suit, but tonight I'm grateful that people understand. Sometimes you have to be out of uniform to achieve what you need to do. Thanks for checking in and looking good. Yeah, it takes about a week. It takes about a week and 2 weeks, and they pull all this stuff out. So we'll see what happens. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be nice. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18. And no matter what I do, it seems to not be the right thing on my RF gain. Mikey is in. He was on Facebook page. You got Mikey checked in. SWL 19. Chet is giving me a thumbs up on the color coordination. Looking good on the cue cards tonight. I'm not sure. Could be slow tonight. So write some extra stuff in there so I have something to say that I look intelligent. Saying that's going to be tough, right? Let's go to SWL 20 out on the west side.
Number 20 here. Dennis, please check me in. 29 and 54. And I'll be checking this particular radio in later on, so I will be around.
Okay, very good. You sound good. The item is so you are healing as well. You're up in a sling, so don't try and hoist any heavy radios tonight. If whatever you got there will be fine.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, just call me Lefty for a while. Can't do too much with it. Okay. We'll catch you all later. I'm going to go in the other room, listen on the stream. Thank you, Dennis. Oh, I still have those radios from Chris. They're still available. Check with Chris, number 37. And the ones from Ed, there's a Heathkit GW22, a Hammerlin CB212, a Johnson Messenger 23 with a silvery microphone. That's in pretty darn good shape. It looks good. And then there's a Browning R68 T68 of Ed's for sale. It comes with a banana mic, which works just fine. Okay, turn it back to you. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thanks, Harvey, for the update. We will be checking in with you just a little later. You are sounding good on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Direct net roll call. Let me, we're going to go over to JT, but I want to see who is joining us. 23 Skidoo, is that Mr. Potato Head I see on the laptop? What is, oh, you know what that is? If one were to go to oldtuberadio.net, that is the, can I make it larger? That's the 6L6 glowing tube. And you got to be careful because when you touch it, it's a little bit hot. It's going to be, but 2 hours from now, it's going to be very hot. But when OTR is on the air, and you go to oldtuberadio.net, where you to be able to go to that, and get a picture or something, the tube will glow when we're on there. I don't know how they figured that out, but it does help. It does help to be heard. Also checking in tonight, Foxman 362. Southwest Virginia. Wind is blowing, gusty winds. Power outages. Well, yeah, it sounds like there's all sorts of wacky things going on. We had a power outage here, so I hope that does not happen tonight. I do have some UPS items that might keep me on the air for a little while. We'll see what happens. Oh, Dwayne and Chris, I see 10 and 30. I see you guys there. You scrolled off my screen. I'll make sure you guys are checked in. Hopefully you are not being inundated by snow and things of that nature. Hello to the Ontario CB Club, 9 Oscar Charlie United Delta X-Ray 483. Mud Bucket Steve. One of my alumni from Mud Bucket University. Sam is going to be trying to check in. Uncle Hairball, I see you there. We'll get you at 59. Levon is there. I think I did get you in there. Extreme CB 007. What did the Fox say? Is this a joke? And where is what the Fox said? I will probably not find that. I put in the advertisement. I was trying to find it here. 27025. YourExtremeCB.com and everywhere else. What are you up to tonight? Are you in the mobile device? You are. Oh, checking in from the RV in the Florida Keys. The Orlando Ham Fest was fantastic. And I haven't been on the radio. You even mentioned that maybe we could hear something from Florida. I listened in a couple nights ago. 40 late at night is a good bet for Florida, but we'll have to see. I'll have to see if we can check in to the RV out there sometime with 007 Extreme CB. I'd like to hear him on the big radio and see what's going on. 23 Skidoo from Jakarta, 8,700 miles. What band was that on? Was that on 11? Was that upstairs on the sideband portion? Yeah, the band was open. I'm really thinking we might have some E-skip tonight if things stay where they should stay. Craig 64 wants to check in. We will do that. Sherlock Ohms, staying warm up in northern Minnesota. Trying to anyway. Well, good. Turn on the radios and you will be able to do that. Thanks for joining us tonight. Oh, here's the joke. Why? What is it? Why do the I missed the other one. Something about it was something. Why do astronauts use Linux? Why do astronauts use Linux? And of course, because they can't open Windows in space. All right, thanks for that. You're making me sound good here. All right, that's it. Let me go back. Let's head over to 21 from Texas. Rocketeer 915? And that was on 470. Oh, okay, all right. Checking in regardless. Power's out on area code 15218. I'm going to bring up the audio. We're going to go to Old Radio Night where he has a veritable stack of radios. I am looking for, let me bring up audio here. See if we got something from Old Radio Night. Yeah, audio is there. Bring up the video. So what is there? I see a messenger. I see a realistic radio. I'm not exactly sure what everything is on there tonight. Let's see if you can let me know. But 21, if you're listening, okay, he's got the Johnson Messenger 100 mobile, the Realistic 449 mobile, and the Wheel of Fortune. And he's monitoring channel 11 on one of those radios. And here he comes.
Hello, Dennis. Tonight's radio up on top is the Messenger 100 mobile.
Okay, the Messenger 100 mobile.
Then I switched to the Realistic TRC 449.
And TRC 449.
South Carolina, checking in.
Good evening, everyone. UX 183, Charleston, South Carolina, checking in.
All right, thanks for checking in, guys. Looking good.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, I got your audio up now. Thanks, guys. I like to do the coast-to-coast check-in, and I like the stack of radios. Vintage radios nonetheless, and also always tuned to channel 11. Thanks. Back to the control room. All right, we'll get through this. Let's go to SWL 21 checked in. SWL 22. Get back to the chart here. SWL 23 Skidoo, who is talk and skip halfway around the world. What's the opposite end of where we are? Madagascar? Would that be the perfect skip? How many hops do you have to do to go 8,700 miles? And I'm surprised you were hearing that in Jakarta. But I good deal. Nice notes coming in. I'm not monitoring the 10-meter beacon, so I don't know what's happening out there. Directed net roll call. Let me get 23 officially checked in. There he is, skedaddling along. SWL 24, Joseph checked in moments ago. SWL 25.
Dennis, SWL 25 checking in.
All right, looking good. It must be nice to have the weekends off for a little bit so you can do stuff, all the honey-dos, and you are sounding good. Over.
Appreciate it, Dennis, and hopefully this radio, hopefully it's working. So anyway, back. Yes, get 74 in there too. Thank you.
Yeah, it's working. It sounds good. I'm moving a couple of things here because I've got a problem. Let's go to that. That's much better. No, it's good audio and 9 pounds, good modulation, Chestnut and Herndon. Over.
Roger. Thanks, Dennis.
Let's go to SWL 27, Dwayne. And out there to Palm Springs, UDX 4570. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Up the road, what is on the menu tonight? Up there near Sacramento, SWL 28. Gary will let us know. It's always an interesting combination. I don't know if it's a tasty combination, but it will be interesting. SWL 29 has a proxy check-in, of course. And tonight on the menu, chocolate-dipped strawberries. All right, that's good already. And vanilla ice cream. You can't get much better than that. Tomorrow, waxing the floors in the green room, getting ready for the spring dance. And first, we got to clear everything out. I will be helping you tomorrow. We have to clear everything out. Then you got to, sweep and everything. And then we've got one of those, I don't know what you call it, floor waxers that you hang on to it and kind of drive it around. Those are not as easy as they look. And of course, Gary always wants to ride on the end. He wants me to ride him around the room as he stands on the the waxing machine. But that's not going to happen this time. Thanks for helping out. Let's go to SWL30. Dwayne has been checked in. Dwayne and Chrissy, SWL31. Robert and Teresa, I bet, are here. I'm putting an X in the square. I might have missed you all when I was scrolling up through the list. Now, I did your checked in. If not, you're watching the video, you're checked in anyway. So now, oh, there you are right here, checking in. I do not have to scroll the page. They are front and center on the list. Hope you are doing okay. You get some cold weather coming up your way, so stay warm. Turn on the tube radios. It'll help out. SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33. That's us. That's the people's here in the green room and whatever at the old TR control point. SWL 34, that's Jimmy, Railroader, Captain Chaos. He's out and about on the Old Tube CB Radio Network page and trams and sonars and brownings and letting people know that we are on the air on Saturday evenings. So if you're joining us from one of the Facebook pages that Jimmy frequents and makes it happen. Thanks for joining us tonight. Something we do here on Saturdays, 8 p.m. Pacific time, just about every week since 1986 or 87. I don't know how that happened, but that's what happened. And Paul says he heard cornbread this evening on 27-185. What is that? Channel 17? Channel 18? I don't have my chart in front of me. And he's on the East Coast of Virginia. I wish we had that kind of skip when the sun went down. You guys would hear us, but you're probably going to have to be in Hawaii, Australia, or on the West Coast if we get some conditions. Going over to Mr. Bill, SWL 35 out in Red Monkey Communications, and I'm sure it is a cold and snowy Cheyenne, Wyoming going on this evening. And there's that. Sherry, I see your FM 1000. That does sound like bacon frying. 52 minutes. All right, I see you there, Bill. Got you checked in. And it is indeed snowing in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And 25, I got you. 25 checked in all over the place. Hello to San Ramon, California. Jumping in the balcony tonight. Let's go to shortwave listener 36. And across the street and down the hill and over to past Grandma's house, SWL 37. I thought I heard Chris in there earlier. Chris, if you're across the room, I'm checking you in. You come back, say hello when you get a chance. SWL 38, calling you, Sam, out there in Byron. Byron, I know you are listening, and the band got pretty quiet. I doubt you can even get a 10-5 from the hippopotamus or the minigrass, because I don't hear them at all around here. SWL 39, shortwave listener 40.
SWL 40. Checking in.
What's going on on the streets tonight? Any wackiness, or is it quiet?
It is eerily quiet. There were fires last night, but I don't smell anything at the moment.
Well, yeah, to get cold, there might be some fires going on. All right, you are checked in and sounding good. Thanks for stopping by. I think we have some jingle singers that say thanks for stopping by. That's when they do that. I'll have to find that. SWL 41. Road Dog 507, of course. And the gang out there in New York checking in. The Orange County React, Hudson Valley. Saying good evening to all, and a good evening right back. Southern Illinois checking in, Jukebox 502. Out there in Nine Land, what do we say? Norway, Sierra Delta. Thanks for joining us tonight. And now my audio just got loud. Let's go to SWL42. Got a note to get a proxy in for 42, which I will do for a proxy check-in. Make yet another adjustment. SWL43. SWL44. Hello, Ray up there. And I will get 360 checked in. He checked in last night on the Ditchbank sideband net, sounding good. There's something that burned up, or I don't know, was some electronic thing, but whatever you did last night on the sideband, you were sounding good, so we've got you checked in tonight. And likewise, SWL45, Paul and Kelly listening in, looking forward to you guys getting back on the air when you can. Stay warm up there. We're going to get some more rain. I don't think you guys got any snow at, 2,500 feet. It hasn't been quite that cold here yet. But we're not done with the meteorological, that's hard to say, meteorological malfeasance. Still can happen around here. Let's go to SWL46. SWL47. Somebody said get Mike checked in. TRC 217. Mike, we got you checked in. SWL48. Sam, I'm getting you checked in. He always sounds good on the Wednesday net and the Friday net. And yes, we are still on 27085, channel 11, if that's what it shows up as here on the almost West Coast, Central California. Kind of close. SWL 49.
Wait a minute. 49?
SWL 47. This is like deja vu all over again.
Oh my God. A day late and $1 short. Greetings from the Radio Lounge. A rather tardy SWL 47. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I'm right on the same page. I mean, here is the list, and 47, 48, 49, it's all on. All I have to do is move my little hand up about half an inch, and I can put the X in the square. You're on the same row on the digital thing, and all is good. So you are X'd and sounding good. Hope it's been a good week.
Oh, it's been a great, it's been a tiring week, but I just got done with some Pavarotti, so it's been a wonderful evening, and I get to enjoy OTR. Couldn't be better.
I agree. On a Saturday evening, this is the Saturday night place to be. That's what we used to say. The Saturday night place to be, and it still is here in 2025. Thanks for checking in. All right, let me go to test control. There we go. I always have the wrong video. And that helps me look at the monitors to make sure I'm actually on the air and doing stuff that's supposed to be done. 47 is there, 48, 49. Let's go to, let me try 49 again. SWL 49. SWL 51, Sangertown checked in. SWL 52. I'm looking to see if Aaron is making it on any one of the various formats that he could check in, but I'll put the X in the square. He's out there somewhere. He might even be streaming this. He caught me Sunday, about 2 Sundays ago. He does a Sunday on his YouTube channel, sort of a Sunday 10 meter, turn it on and see what's going on. I was doing some testing, and he caught me testing on his audio stream. So that was kind of fun. So Aaron, thanks for that. And James, you are correct, sir. As Johnny Carson would, as Ed McMahon used to say, you are correct, sir. This is the Saturday night place to be. Let's go to SWL 53. Oh, Bob did check in. The legend. Let's go to page 3. I've got a check-in for 54. Let's go up the hill to SWL 55.
55 checking in.
All right, looking good. You guys get any snow up there?
Just up a little higher. It's nice and deep.
Yeah, okay. I saw some pictures. I don't think we had anything, and the transmitter is at 4,500, and usually you get up to Shaver, and it might start there, and then they had some power outages here and there where the generator might start. All right, looking good, and we've got you checked in.
Thank you. Yeah, about 7,000 is where you want to be.
Yeah, Huntington, back where the snow machines are and the skiers go. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
56 checked in just for kicks. I will get a proxy. No, I won't. Let's see. SWL 57. I think you are there. I may not have to proxy in Brown Dog Audio tonight out there in central Kentucky. We will see. Otherwise, I will do that. Jake from State Farm in the Pacific Northwest. Jake, listen in. Channel 11. I really think we might have... Conditions have been interesting. Might have some short skip from your area tonight. You never know. You'll hear... We've got some big... Not me, but we've got some big stations here in the Central Valley. So if the band was open, you would hear them. SWL 58. I'll get a proxy in for Jeremy. Brown Dog Audio is in.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Dennis, you're down real good at McCall on 180.
All right, McCall on 180. So I will put that on your receiver because my antenna's not very high, and likewise, you're doing a good job, over.
Yo, hey, see you, buddy.
All right, and I'll have to check the topographical map because that may be just before it kind of goes off the hill and down in the ditch. McCall and 180. Yeah, you're up a little bit and it drops down, but that's good. Boy, you are putting in a good signal. That is definitely not a close by shot. And my antenna is probably blocked by some big trees. Talking about big trees, here is the big tree himself. SWL 59, Uncle Hairball. I saw you in earlier. He was, of course, over at Old Radio Night with JT and the gang. And he is here right now. Right here, right now, as Motormouth Mall would say, checking in. So 59, we've got you. SWL 60, hello, Joe.
Hi, hello, Dennis. Doggone it, I was just setting up here in this corner here. Doggone it, company's setting up the old chair for the OTR. SWL 60 checking in, evening time with all the fellas out there on the band.
Hey, likewise, sounding good. We got you checked in. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
My pleasure, Dennis.
All right, Jake from State Farm is having electrical issues till tomorrow. No radio. Well, you've got something. You've got some type of universal media netweb. Check out. I guess you could have virtual radio if you go to one of the software-defined receivers out there and dial that in. I wish we had one around here. We're working on it. We get one close enough here, you'd be able to actually listen into the net live via the SDR receiver, which we don't have. We don't have anything in the Central Valley. That's pretty awful. We work on that. SWL 61, Copenhagen checked in. SWL 62. SWL 63. SWL 64. I saw Craig in earlier, said he might need a check-in from Wisconsin. I'm doing that right now. Craig, if you're there, say hello radio, but we do have you checked in. Shortwave listener 65. SWL 66. And who is doing? Somebody just came into the balcony joining us. Lake Elsinore. Could that be, could 78 be not far behind out there in Lake Elsinore? SWL 67, speaking of a check-in, Bill in Canby is checking in tonight. I think I saw you on my list. No school bus Thursday and Friday in Wilsonville, Oregon. 5-day weekend. Wow. Is that because of the rain? Who else? Somebody else got canceled. Rain. I think up in Boise they were having a lot of rain, or snow, I should say. No school bus Thursday. All right, and then that's right. Monday's a holiday. So I guess that's a good deal. Is that a good thing? You never know. Hello to also San Ramon. Checking in. To California stations jumping in because we can't do the short skip. Bill, I've got you checked in. There's the mark. Let's go to SWL 68. Uh-oh. We got a visitor. Come on, Mooch. All right. Just in time to be in my way. All right. Let's go to SWL 68. Michael wanted an early check-in out there in New York, and he's got one. Kenny, SWL 69. Is Kenny out there? Did I see you earlier? I don't think I did. I will check. I always check after the ex post facto, ex post netto, and make sure I didn't forget anybody. But Kenny, out there in Tulsa, we've got you checked in. And I was right. There's Richard. Let me grab you right now since you're here. And you never know if in Wild Wildemar if you have a power outage. So I saw you. You were announced as you came in the door up there up in the balcony. SWL 78 out in Wild Wildemar. Back to 69. Let's go to SWL 70. And Mark was sounding good. I can't remember if he did the net. I can't remember if he did the net the other night, but he was sounding good from his location. So, Mark, if you're listening, we got you checked in. What's Stan up to in beautiful Dallas, Georgia, after SWL 71? Checking to see if he made it in. Okay, don't see him yet. Who? Oh, somebody else stopped by. Who is that? It is Albert. Says the Echo link won't work. Well, Albert, I got you in here. Chance of showers and sparks. And saying hello, radio, and hope all the SWLs are doing well tonight. I'll get Stan checked in, SWL 71. Somebody needs to find a place to park here. Let's go to SWL 72. Shortwave listener 73. I'm way off the beam. SWL 74. We got a proxy check-in for Miss Julie. SWL 75. 356 BYU. SWL 76, Red Fox 1 is somewhere. Where are you at? You were way out. Oh, Johnson, Rhode Island. Well, come on. Let's go to SWL 77. If 1017 isn't there, I do have a check-in. A proxy check-in for 1017. Let's go to SWL 78, which we already did. Which we'll check you in again. Just that's what happens when you come in right at the right spot. SWL 79.
79 checking in.
79 checking in. Sounding good. We got you checked in earlier on the crossband on FM, and now got you checked in on AM as well. Over.
Thank you, sir.
Over to SWL 80. Also, who just came in? We got a couple of stations. Ohio. It's right in Toledo. Toledo, Ohio. Hello to you. London, Kentucky. Hello to you. Jumping in on the old Tube Radio Network. Over to page 4. And it's kind of a quiet evening tonight, so hopefully we will have a couple of radios to put on the list. Let's go to SWL 81. And the CAT scan comes in. I got the CAT scan. We found the spot down here. Everything seems to be okay, so we are Moocher approved for the net tonight. Heading out to the ditch banks, SWL 82.
Hey, good evening. 82 checking in from the ditch banks of Iowa on the AM side.
Always sounding good on the AM side. I'm not hearing any of the Australian stations. Doesn't mean they're not out there, but Skip was in late tonight. Could happen. It is about that bewitching time. The voice you just heard, and we'll make him take another transmission before he goes. The voice of the Ditch Banks sideband net on Friday evenings here on the West Coast, or Central Coast, or Central California. It's all that stuff. You know what they say in California? You're always on the coast somewhere. What time is it? Friday at 8 p.m. And what is the frequency, Ron? Over.
That would be the frequency of 27.365, channel 36 on your CB radio. Lower sideband, of course.
Absolutely. There's a roll call. He takes check-ins from visitors at the appropriate time, and usually after the net, there's plenty of time to chat and have a great Friday evening. Thanks for doing that, Ron, and thanks for checking in.
All right, Dennis, take care. Everybody, hello and good night.
Directed net roll call. We're on page 4. Tube radios coming up. Those are the Class D 11-meter citizen band radios starting in 1958 to about 1978 when the tubes were taken out. And heck, we'll check in anything. If you've got an 11-meter position on your radio, we'll check it in. And we've had some Johnson Vikings, the big 80-pound ones, Collins radios, Gonset G76. So if you can get the 11 meters going, we'll get you checked in. Let's go to SWL 83. SWL 84, we'll get the group here, 84, 86, 87, and 88. Of course, that's Cheerios Kid. And you can hear Jerry most weekdays on around noontime on the noontime net at 7.204 here on the West Coast, running his classic old ham style radios. So also checking in Mount May Tandy Girl and the Snowy Owl. Over to SWL 89. No radios that weigh less than 12 pounds. I think most of the classic Class D are at least 12 pounds. And if you're doing something that you don't need to be, in the days when you didn't need to be crystal controlled, you're probably looking at more like 80 pounds or more. What is the DX1? What's the DX100? Weighs about 100 pounds, I think. That's why they got that number there. Did someone say cornbread? Yeah, we said cornbread a long time ago. But we did get you checked in, and Dapper Dan as well, because he looks so dapper. Let's go to SWL 90. The break OTR, go ahead, over. Wow, way out there. Yeah, you're still beaconing in here with no problem. Wait, the audio is good on that radio. Nice, clear audio. All right, and that's on AM, folks. If we were on sideband, I think that would be an easy hit. But he's a mobile AM radio way out that away and doing good. 111 checking in from the new Striker. Thanks, Bob. Did I call? I might have. Did I call Felix? SWL 91. Given Felix a time to check in, unless it's snowing. Maybe there's no power going on out there. Let's see, where else are we going? SWL 91, SWL 92, Mr. Roman. SWL 93. SWL 95. Shortwave listener 96, Kurt in Kokomo. Romeo Echo Charlie. SWL 97, what is Jim up to? Boston 97. And Brian says there's no conditions in the Canadian Rockies. 9 Whiskey Romeo 2356. Now that sounds like a good call. That sounds like the call you would get when the FCC said, yeah, let's do that Class D thing. And then they figured out the 3 letters and the 4 numbers. But early calls could be something like that. And Canadian Rockies. Good late night 40-meter skip out to the Canadian Rockies, no doubt. They're in Manitoba, Alberta, out in British Columbia as well. I was doing some DXing the other night. I just can't believe sometimes the NVIS propagation that happens out there. Let's go to, I got Tracy. Let me get Tracy, SWL 98. Tracy checked in, wanted to check in via the Facebook page, which I have done, and we'll get to checked in tonight. And then, speaking about DX, SWL 99. Hello, Randy. Radio Randy. Tango Victor. Thanks for joining us. You're just in time. You are right on schedule, as they say, and we've got you checked in. I think I've got you checked in. It should say right above my head that you are checked in. Indeed, you are. I was on briefly. I was on 75 last night, but it was late. The band was really good. It was really good for the short local skip, and then, occasionally you'd have a Montana or a Michigan station jump in. So the band was wide open last night, and it sounded good. You know how sometimes it sounds phase distorted? It sounded good last night, so sorry I missed you. Randy, on the FT8, 320 countries confirmed. And I thought there were only 319 countries, so they must have made one while you were checking in. So now you've got them all. Good stuff. I don't even think I have 10. Okay, and thanks for the call there, Brian. I'll look for you sometime up there. I have to set up a sketch. I'm sure I would hear you. I bet I would hear you on 40. Mount Athos. Is that right? MT Athos? Is that the country? Is that the place where the country's at? I don't know. Direct net roll call. We are heading to the tube radios. And we will get to those. Oh, so you know where we're heading now? It's SWL 100, and that is Tony over on the Echo link. So let me get him checked in, and let me switch over. And I think I have it hooked up. Hopefully I have it hooked up on the Echo link here. We will see what happens. Hello, Tony, KD4BAO, KB6GFD. And Tony should respond on... There it is.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. Sounding great. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
And as always, good sounding Echo link from all the way out in South Carolina. Tony is our TOTA activator. Tubes on the air, and that'll be happening in about 5 minutes. So thanks for that, KB6GFD. At least I know I got the Echo link up tonight. Shortwave listener 102. Speaking of Arkansas, get you guys checked in out there tonight. See who's listening. Checking in, looking good. Got you, John. Let's go to 103. Shortwave listener 103. Joey checked in over at oldtuberadio.net not too long ago. Let me make sure I got the right thing. Yes, I do. So, Joey out of South Carolina, Tango Romeo 21 X-ray. We've got the check-in for you. And I'm forgetting to mark a few of them here. I don't want to do that. And 23 is going to do, will there be a sponsor pin tonight? How would I do that? I don't have a pocket protector. You know, there is no, oh, wait a minute. Will that work? You know what? I might try this. No, I don't think it's going to fit. I just know there's a little zipper pocket, but it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. It'll fall out. I could, you know what? I know where I could put it. Okay, during the break, I'm going to see if I can't grab the pocket protector and get it on here, but will there be a pin to go into it? I don't know. We'll find out, but you've given, by Jove, 23, you've given me an idea. We'll see what happens. Joey is checked in, 103. Let's go to SWL 109 up the hill.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
All right, station who's been checking in for a long time and indeed knows the Saturday night place to be is right here, Channel 11, 27085 in the Central Valley of California and everywhere else, thanks to the Universal Media Netweb. Thank you, Mr. Crawdad, for checking in. Sounding good.
Thank you, Dennis, and there isn't a better place to be on a Saturday night.
All right, well, most people would agree with you, but you never know. Sometimes there's places, you know what it is? Sometimes there's places that you have to be on a Saturday night, and you can't be the place that you want to be. Thanks for checking in.
All right, thank you, Dennis, and you're sounding good tonight.
You know, I used to have, somebody wanted a slide rule. I used to have a slide rule. I don't know where it is. I even had a little pouch, and I even used to know how to use it. I do not know what happened to it. If I find it, we'll bring it out here and put it on display. SWL 110. 111 checked in, and you heard him local on his new mobile, way out on the freeway, heading out towards Reedley and Sangertown, and then out at Central Avenue, just above the noise level here, but sounding really good. So whatever antenna he's got on that mobile has done a good job. Let's go to 113. Over to 114. Hello, Wayne.
114 checking in. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Wayne. Sounding good, nice and loud. The X is in the square. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for checking in.
And Matambale says, haven't used the slide rule since 1977. Ours, we were in a class in high school, and this would have been probably 1971 or 72. It's probably 71. And we were using, you had to use the slide rule. It was like part of the deal. And then I remember one of the guys whose dad worked somewhere, one of the tech places, brought in one of the early Texas Instrument calculators that were hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and hey, look, it does division and multiplication and percentages, and showed it off to the class, and that was the end. That was the end of everything. Once it's like, okay, who wants a slide rule anymore? Anybody? No. So that was fun times. Let's go over to SWL 128, and of course, that is John out in Fairfax, Virginia, who might be on my screen, about an hour ago, checking in and out with the flu. Might leave early this evening. All right, well, with flu, about the best thing you can do is get a lot of rest. You be like Moocher here, who does not have the flu, but is always getting a lot of rest. So be like the Mooch and check out early, but we're glad you checked in. Thanks for stopping by, as the jingle singers would say. Let's go to shortwave listener 131. Did I mention this is the Old Tube Radio Network? Channel 11 is where we're at, 27085. We're also got an audio stream at oldtuberadio.net. All one word, oldtuberadio.net, and then there's a link there that you can punch in and some video shows up. Do not add pictures to radio. You get yourself into trouble. SWL 131, shortwave listener 133, SWL 135.
Hello.
Whoa.
Dennis, SWL 135 checking.
Wow, see, because you hadn't had it warmed up. When we were talking earlier, the key down, you only need like half a second. That was definitely the 10-second warm-up. So before you check in on the tubeless, which is coming right up, it's like calisthenics, like stretching before you go run a marathon. Take that radio to, and if it has a channel somewhere, and key it up a few times and then bring it back. It'll work fine. Hearing you good, and we got you checked in.
It only has one channel. It has just one channel, so I cannot comply.
Okay, no problem. I will know it's you. I will know it's not somebody hanging carrier. It a radio, a cute little tube radio doing its warm up, and it's fun how that just sort of comes in, and there you are checked in. Boy, week 2 of the flu. Flu sounds like a nasty thing. I don't want it. I definitely do not want the flu. So we'll try and be good with that. SWL 137. They keep saying you're getting off the microphone. All right. What if I do this? What if I bring it really close? Will that work? It's a shotgun microphone, but you can work right up on it. You can be right up on it, and it still sounds good. Let's go up to Tony. SWL 145.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. 145 checking in if this working tonight. Wasn't working last night.
Yeah, I was listening, and I don't know what was going on last night. It sounded like it was way off frequency or something. It just, we could tell it was you, but you couldn't understand the audio. But it's working perfectly right now.
All right, thank you for the check-in, Dennis. Appreciate you.
All right, you got the AM side working. If that's the same radio, it's working as well. Speaking of working, I let it go past, but I wanted to give a shout out. And you know what? Let me bring. We're talking about snow earlier. Let me see if that is the page. Yeah, there's the big antennas. I don't know if that's a valid picture. The snowshoes through the snow, way up in Zero Land. That is one of the best pictures. Even the guy lines have got snow going on. But it looks like all the elements are not drooping. That's what you got to be careful. Got to be careful of snow load and drooping elements and things of that nature. But I want to give a shout out to one of our faithful shortwave listeners from a long, long time who always lets us know when the band is open. Rob up in Woodland Park, Colorado, listens in and gives us the report. And he has got the station to do it. Yeah, you need to put up one of those, what is it, the Kiwi SDRs? Probably would mess up the local stuff. Anyway, Rob, I saw you in there earlier, and I got sidetracked. I wanted to say hello, radio, and say hope you're working and making it through the snow here. Trying to find that's what I'm looking for right there, that picture. 45 is in, 145, 147. Neil, let me see if Bobby, I'm going to do the questions, but I'll do it at the end of the roll call here. SWL 188.
Evening time, Dennis. SWL 188 checking in.
Sounding good. Yeah, I remember not to make you wait through the questions tonight. So I've got the 188. Are you hearing... On your big station there, are you hearing any skip at all? My antenna's low, but I just don't think there's anything out there right now.
I'm looking towards your neck of the woods. I did have a little bit of conditions coming in from Hawaii, but I haven't spun back around to look that direction.
All right, well, it's quiet, and they hung in later tonight, so I thought they might come back at the gray line, which is usually about now, but I haven't heard a thing, and you are sounding good as always. All right, thanks for checking. Heading up the hill to Course Gold, SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis.
All right, checking in, 195, probably a little bit cool and crisp. I think our rain is over for a while, and the sun is coming out, and that means it'll be cold evenings up there, but we've got you checked in.
Sure, thank you, Dennis. Well, have a good evening.
All right, thanks for checking in. Jump up in Course Gold. And speaking of checking in, let me go up the page. We're still on page 4, SWL 91. Jumping into the air chair. But still looking good doing it. I don't know how he does that. Just kind of, make sure the hair is good and the collar is straight and just say 91. 91 is here. We've got the X in the square. Thanks for joining us, as always, Mr. Felix. Up to 226. And any late check-ins? All right, we are almost on time tonight. I'm going to go, what was I going to, I was going to find the pocket protector, put that on if I can. We're in alternative mode here tonight because we've got some dermatological sutures going on in a spot that was not allowing the tie in the seersucker suit. Charlie gave me something to liven up the color, the drabness of net control tonight, and all looks good. Back with your radio check-ins in a moment, as soon as I can get myself out of the air chair. Moocher, you're going to have to move for a little bit. We'll be back in just a bit, the Old Tube Radio Network.
No, not yet.
Oh, this is the not yet frequency. Go ahead.
7 checking in.
37, all right, perfect time. I did have a proxy for you because I figured you might have been listening from afar, or Biddy doing something, but you are perfect now. Let me find page 2, and the X is in the square. Thanks for joining us during the roll call. You are not late.
Boy, I just barely made it. I was getting my whatever. All right, thank you, Dennis.
You know what saved you tonight is there is a cat in my lap that I have to figure out what to do with. So I was pondering that, and you came right in.
There's nothing wrong with having your cat in your lap.
I guess not, and especially it's a little bit warm. I think that's why the cat is in my lap. Oh, you know what? I also forgot that I need to do the questions. Let me head up to the couple of questions here before we go, and then we'll be checking in radios. Let's see. I did not. Sometimes I look at the questions to know what it is I'm going to be talking about, but I did not do that tonight, so we'll do what we say in the business, read them cold. All right, number 1. What primary function does the 866A vacuum tube perform? And we've got a multiple choice here. So we're looking for the 866A vacuum tube. What is the primary function? Obviously, it must have many, but the thing it does best is the 866A vacuum tube a mixer, a detector, a rectifier, or an audio amp? And Rob saying he needs to update the pick now that he's retired. Maybe a summertime thing. That would be interesting. I'm working on that retirement stuff too, so no picture updates. All right, we're talking about the 866 vacuum tube. Rectifier is one of the answers given. And the choices are mixer, detector, rectifier, or audio amp. And the answer is the 866 vacuum tube is unique because it contains liquid mercury inside. Uh-oh. Don't break that tube. It contains liquid mercury inside, which vaporizes when heated, allowing it to function as a half-wave rectifier. Ding, 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 with a distinctive blue glow. Yeah, I know those blue tubes. Look at some of your old transmitters. Look down in that helicopters that Johnson and see if you see a blue glow. If you're got a blue glow, no doubt you probably got the 866A rectifier tube. All right, good job. Who got that? Rob got that. John got that. Did I get that? I might have got that, but I didn't get that. Let's go to number 2. When calibrating true north on your antenna rotator with a compass, in which state would you most likely not have to worry about magnetic declination? And I think, 15 degrees? I can't remember. There's like north and magnetic north, and I want to say it's 15 degrees, but don't quote me on that. So when calibrating true north, whatever true north is, on your antenna, or maybe that is true north, with a compass, in which state would you most likely not have to worry about magnetic declination? Well, I would think the closer you are... Okay, now wait a minute. Is it the closer you are or the farther you are from, let's say, the North Pole? So the possible answers would be Florida. I'm not looking. I haven't looked yet. And Alaska, I would think. 23 Skidoo says Alaska. John, thank you. 22 degrees on the item. And it's surely not Colorado. We'll find out. The answer is... In the U.S. states that generally don't need to worry about magnetic declination are those located near the Mississippi River, as this area is close to the agonic line, A-G-O-N-I-C. Agonic line where magnetic north aligns with true north, meaning minimal declination exists. So a compass will point directly to true north in this area. So is there a marker? In the California, we have this palm tree marker in the middle of a freeway, middle of a highway that says this is the exact center of the state. This little palm tree. So I wonder if they have this marked somewhere on the Mississippi River. This is your exact, what do they call it? Agonic declination area. So okay, that's telling me anything located near the Mississippi River, close to the AGONIC line, where magnetic north aligns with true north. Not Florida, and not Alaska. All right, good stuff. I learned two things. One, that I'm not very smart, and two, that we need rectifiers, detectors, and the agonic north. OTR will be back in a bit, and we'll be checking in your radio. Stand by. Need to turn off the Vox. All right. Test radio. All right, the Vox is off. I'll be back. Butcher, you're not going to like this.
We're almost right on frequency.
All right, we are back. Going a little bit slow here. A little slow. All right. Okay, boys and girls, I think we made it back. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Control room. All right. I think I figured it out here. The pocket protector. This is about it. That's going to kind of poke me in the neck. And we do have a... Do we have a vintage tube and a vintage pen to go on the pocket protector? Welcome back to the Old Tube Radio Network. What are they saying? They're reading the rules to me here. All right. Charlie's whispering to Chet. Chet is writing something on the cue card. And what is it? Okay, he says that... Oh, I'm not allowed, unless I'm in the proper attire for the Tube Radio Network, I guess the era, they were not allowed to put a classic pen into the pocket protector. Are these rules? Who make these rules up? All right, so put in anything. So let me find something here. All right, we'll grab one off the desk. So tonight, our pen sponsor is... I can't even read it. It's rubbed off. Oh, it's upside down. KFCF-FM. Oh, it's a station pen, 88.1. All right. So the little pen that we have as a little promotion for the station will go into. All right. I'm obeying the rules here. So we don't have a. That's on the wrong spot. Okay, we don't have a classic pen, but we've got the pocket protector, and we're doing good. Enough of me. It is now time for the radios, and that's a good thing because we are the Old Tube Radio Network. Let me fix the other items here, and I got to clear that, and I'll be standing by. OTR is listening.
135, 135, 135.
Okay, I heard that. 135, 135, 135. That is, 405 if we add them all together. But I know better than that. 135, the audio is coming up. We'll explain why there is a little bit of extra work on your part to get things going on the air. And we're going to go back to you out there. Your turn, Clip.
Okay, just watching the... frequency climb up a little bit. Hello. It just doesn't really want to work. I don't know why. It just got too cold since I talked to you last. But if you can hear me, this radio's from Mars Hill, North Carolina, and the Hammerland Radio Corporation. This is the Hammerland HQ105TR. That's Hotel Quebec 105 Tango Radio. If you can hear me out there, back to you.
And see, I got to grab the microphone on. 105 TR. I can hear you. No, it's coming in good. The audio is nice and loud. If your off frequency is not far enough to be out of my range, let me see if I can get a closer picture of that. Because this is a radio like no other. Because it is a shortwave radio. Shortwave listeners might know this. The Hammerland HQ, I think it was 100 or 105. If you're familiar with that, Hammerland early on in the 11-meter days, 58, 59, 60, 61, decided to secret somehow a 10-meter/11-meter transmitter in that same case. And thus begat the HQ-105TR. And there's some other designations. The one we're showing has a meter and a clock. Is that what you've got?
Yes, sir. This is the one with the clock, which I believe makes it the 105TR-C for clock. It's the 24-hour clock, and I do have it set, but I think I lost a few minutes when I was messing with it earlier. Let's see, this thing has 11 tubes, but only one transmit channel. There's a single crystal you plug in the back for the frequency of your choice. Other than that, your receive options are much better. You got 0.54 to 30 megahertz. So you know you're in broadcast band all the way up to 30 megahertz for your receive. There is no way to spot this thing, interestingly enough. So you kind of have to dial in your right receiving channel while trying to remember what your transmit channel was. Back to you.
All right, I'm trying to get a closer picture of just the radio. So there's the two dials, and unlike a tram or something where one of the transmit and receive, that's the receivers. You've got a main, let me make sure, you've probably got a main band, and then I'll call it band spread. So to get to where we're at now, you've got to turn one dial to, 26, 27, 28, and then park it, and then use the fine-tuning. Is that it?
That is just about precisely it. Yeah, on the left side is your main tuning, and according to the instructions and the way I kind of do this, you tune it to just about 27 megahertz, and then you use the band spread on the right side to tune in your channel. There is on the right-hand dial at the bottom a section which says CB, and according to the manual, that represents your 23 at the time CB channels on the band spread. So you just leave your main tuning alone and use the band spread to tune in the specific channel you want to listen to.
Nice, yeah, because that was an FCC thing. They already had frequencies you could do that with, and as we've mentioned before, of course, you did not have to be crystal controlled on the receive, but you had to be crystal controlled on the transmitter. So obviously it looked like the easiest thing for them to do was build, and it would be nice to see the radio, like the HQ100, and see what they did, how much space they had to change things around to get that transmitter in there. And I think they also had a version where you could do 10 meters. But of course they had to follow the rules. One, crystal controlled, so there's your one crystal stuck inside there somewhere. And then that had to be a 5-watt DC input to be FCC type accepted. So I'm assuming that if you've got a watt meter, you're certainly not putting out amateur radio power. You should be 5 watts or less, right?
Yes, but of course if you had your license, you could always hook it up to an amplifier of some kind. I'm not sure what the old novice power limitations were back in the 60s. Yeah, but that's what was I saying? Oh yeah, easy access to the crystal. There's an open door, if you will, in the back, so you can pop the crystal in and out. Oh, you lost me. What else were you talking about?
Well, I'll go through some other things here as well, since we're looking at the radio, and then I'll jump in with the other. You do have a meter. Is it calibrated typically like S9, 20/40/9, or is it some different calibration? Because it's, in theory, you'd have a transmitter. So if it was just a receiver, you would think that. But since it's got the transmitter, I think maybe they have it different calibration on there.
No. It's a basic meter. Goes from 0 S units. It says S units in that part, and then it goes up to 9, and then says was it dB above. And so you're coming in at 10, which is right in between the 9 and the plus 20. This goes to plus 50, oddly. And right now, since I have it keyed up, the meter is cranked all the way over to the right, indicating that I am transmitting full power, which, according to all my other meters, I am not. So it depends, but and it says carrier level there. It's made for your receive, and it's the same meter as on the HQ100. I have an HQ100 AC, and yeah, with it's almost exactly the same radio. Now they didn't actually stick a transmitter in there. There is a relay in there, and what they did is turned like most tube-type CB radios. Turned a lot of the receive tubes into transmit tubes, by shifting the wiring, with the, oh blast, I just said it, the relay switch. Back to you.
Okay, interesting to note, and then I'm going to ask you one more question on the front. There is a multi-selection switch. The picture I have is good. It's just that when I zoom in on it, I can't read the writing. But you got a multi-function switch in the center. So I'm assuming that switches your bands. What is the bands? 40 through 10 on that. 80 through 10. Anyway, yeah, that must be the band switch, right?
Yes, sir. Sorry, just waiting for it to come up to. Hello. Hey, it's starting to work. Hello. I almost got half a watt now. Yeah, that is your band selector. We can go from left to right if you like. The far left band, interestingly enough, is just 20 meters. They got a whole band set aside just for 20 meters. Then the next one is 10 through 30 megahertz. We're going to be going down. Then 4 through 10 megahertz. Then 1.6 through 4 megahertz, and then 0.54 to 1.6 megahertz, your AM broadcast band. So I kind of thought it was interesting that, yeah, they have a whole separate calibrated on the band spread and everything for just for 20 meters.
Nice. Well, 20 meters was, a good DX band and all of that. So it's got everything. So they've got the clock. You said it's 24 hours. I'm showing 5:30. I'm showing 5:30. So does a clock actually work? I mean, the clocks never work, right?
So, not true, Techron Breath. Both my Hammerlin clock radios, the clocks work just perfectly. Like I say, since I had to unplug it to mess with it, I'm off on the minutes. The sweep second hand is working just fine. And let's see, I got about 2120. Do you know that it's about 2100 hours, and I guess about 20 minutes. How many minutes after the hour are we?
I'm showing 30, so it's at 9:30, so you'd be around 21:30, and that's my calibration. UTC is 5:30, so my calibration at WWV. So I'm off a couple seconds, probably.
Right, I was off, yeah, by quite a bit. Then I'm sure I had it unplugged for quite some time. So I guess it was just about 10 minutes I had it unplugged. But yeah, that's local 24-hour time. Yeah, I did not set it this time. Last time I checked it in, I think I did have it on UTC. But yeah, so you can choose. You can do it any way you like.
All right, very good. Sounding good. The audio, like you said, it's coming up. It's got good full fidelity. And like I mentioned earlier when you were testing, doesn't have quite the punch of the tram or the Browning or the general radio telephone, but it's got good full fidelity audio. So were you to do some audio trickery or swap microphones around, wouldn't be a problem. Probably because it's not not being super filtered. Information about Hammarlund started in 1910. I think that even surpasses E.F. Johnson, which I think in the 20s. So Hammarlund started in 1910. Oscar Hammarlund, the founder, it was dissolved in 1973. Started in New York City, New York, 1910. It was among the United States' oldest producers of radio equipment. The first Hammarlund plant was a loft operation engaged in radio component manufacturing on Fulton Street in Lower Manhattan. Their variable capacitor designs quickly became industry standards, and the company's and the component schematic symbol was adopted as the company's logo in the mid-1920s. I don't see... Oh, yes, it is. And the speaker, it has the... I'll show that. That's what we're talking about. That was their variable capacitor design, the H with the little line over.
Yes. That's... oh, am I up there yet? Yeah, that's also on... on the speaker. Oh, yeah, I am listening to you on the S100 Hammarlund speaker. And, yeah, the Techron clock has that symbol... way far off to the left on it. Back to you.
It looks good. I've got a picture of that. The company opened its major manufacturing facility in Mars Hill, North Carolina, as you mentioned, in 1951. Hammarlund Roberts was a company in 1931. Communication gear, final decades. Even as the company continued to produce communications equipment for the amateur, commercial, and citizen band radio market, so at least they admit to it, it underwent frequent changes of ownership. The first was in the late 1950s when Hammarlund was sold to, here it is, Telechrome, several years. So once you are sold to a clock company, I guess it stands to reason that you're going to have a clock stuck in your component. Several years later, Telechrome sold out to Giannini Scientific. In the late 60s, the company was once again sold to Electronic Assistance Corporation, EAC, but this sale was final. The product line was sold off and parts are phased out. The Cardwell Condenser Corporation purchased all the remaining stocks, and in 1973, the Hammarlund factory closed. At the time of its dissolution, Hammarlund was among the USA's very oldest producers of radio equipment. And then I wanted to talk one thing about the HQ 100, and that came out in 1956. The HQ 100 series began in 1956. It was a cheaper and similar version of the HQ 140, but the build quality matches it. Hammarlund just outshone many other manufacturers, even Hallicrafters, one of the leading ham receivers. So 1956. So they took their 1956 sort of economy receiver, and 1958 was the start of Class D, and somebody at Hammarlund said, I've got an idea. So nice stuff. Truly, if you are a shortwave listener, du jour, you're going to want one of these radios.
Yeah, I think so. I've liked Hammarlunds as well as the Hallicrafters for a long time. They both have their pluses and minuses, in my opinion. I think I forgot to mention the microphone. This is a gray bass amplified D104. And you mentioned the S100 speaker. Like I was telling you earlier, you sound just glorious on this thing. Even if my transmit audio isn't that great, I promise you the receive audio is outstanding on this thing. Back to you.
As well it should be, because you're probably not being constricted by any filtering, although a Collins mechanical filter wouldn't be bad. So, and I'm running a little bit wideband on the AM, so probably more akin to a broadcast width, so it's picking it up, so it's perfect. So it's the perfect transmitter for that radio, the Hammarlund HQ 105TR that has the clock, and the clock is working, putting in a great signal. The audio is fine and nice. Does need to warm up, but now that you've been keying it up, it comes right up when you talk, so not a problem, and it certainly isn't anywhere close to being way off frequency because it sounds great. Back to you for a transmission. The Hammerland, of course, and we've checked in a few of the past months, did finally get into what would look like a CB standard radio, and that's from their CB-2 something series. And then I think after this, they came out with the 205 and fixed some of the problems that kept it probably from selling, which was, only one channel and the ability to get to the crystals. Although, I don't know. I think when you combine the two, this is the cool radio. This is the cool radio with the clock. If you're perfect for SWOs. Oh, I know. I was going to ask you about the back. What do you do for an antenna? Because the shortwave radio should have typically a couple of screw terminals and maybe a little plate on the ground. So do you have a coax connector? How do you get your transmit antenna on there?
Just as you might imagine, the only antenna connection on this radio is an SO239. It was made for it. Now the 205, you mentioned the 205, it has both. It has, a whole band selector just for the CB, and that switches you over to the SO239 connector. And when you want to listen to, shortwave stuff, you must have an antenna connected to one of the little antenna screw terminals. This one does not. This one just has the SO239. I thought that was kind of strange. That's one way it definitely differs from the HQ100. Back to you.
Yeah, and I don't think the 205 matches any of their receivers. I could be wrong about that. This one definitely is a receiver with a transmitter stuck into it. The 205 sort of has a total different look, but it's still a shortwave receiver with a transmitter in there. So not bad. Don't have many of these around. I've actually in town here, I'm going to say we at least have 2 or 3 that I know of that have checked in over the years. So it's a thrill to see one of these. Occasionally you'll see one at a swap meet or something, and they're never in good condition. So really pleased that yours is tip-top shape and able to take a transmission.
Harvey, did you intend to blow the speaker up on my radio?
Yes, I did. I was waiting for you to mention it, but for the 105TR, they came up with a box with about 8 or 9 crystals in it, with a cable that plugged into the back of the radio where the opening is for the single crystal. You pulled that out, plugged this thing in. It had a little bracket on it that hooked to the top of the radio, and you could change channels from it. That's what they came out with for the 105TR. And then the 205, I think, Cliff, it's what, 5 or 8 channels, something like that.
6, I think.
But for the 105, you could get that added on device.
The 205 is 6 channels, and then built into the radio. 6 whole channels, transmit and receive crystals. I thought when you check yours in, Harvey, if you ever check yours in, you could bring that up, because you've got that. I don't have that external box. It's very cool.
Roger. Really nice. The only problem is, excuse me, if you tune the radio for the one channel that's in the radio, that's plugged in, so it's on frequency, then when you plug all those external ones in, because of the cable and all, you have to retune the inside of the radio. It's a little difficult to do, but it can be done. And then it's not good to switch between that box and the single plugged-in crystal, because you have to retune. Anyway, so much for that. Oh, and the other thing, Dennis, you mentioned the palm tree on 99. just before Madera, denoting the end of southern Cal. Well, just behind it is a pine tree. A pine tree, and that denotes Northern California. And that's just south of the Avenue 11 overpass on 99.
All right, that's what I was thinking of. There's two of them, and I guess they're still there. They haven't been crashed into. Maybe they've been crashed into. They haven't died or anything like that. But I thought maybe that's what they have somewhere where the true magnetic, corresponding north would be along the Mississippi River. Or, as 23 Skidoo mentions, your tech tip, set your iPhone compass app to use true north when aligning your rotors and directional antennas. Easy to do. That's much easier to do than trying to go to Hannibal, Missouri and jump on a paddle wheel ship. Cliff, we spent a little extra time because we don't get this radio that often. I know some of our listeners are also amateur radio operators, and they might be familiar with the Hammerland radio. I'm really not sure how they marketed this. My guess is it was marketed to hams, because when you think about 11-meter radio, it was supposed to be simple. This is, you still have to work a receiver here. There wasn't really a mobile version. You couldn't go 12 volts. And to get your license, you were supposed to have a radio, a base and a mobile unit, so you would still have to buy another non-Hammerland radio. So I'm not sure how they figured out what they wanted to do this, but they did get into the 11-meter market, and then at some point they got into the, CB-style radios that would go 12 volts and 110 volts, but a classic nonetheless. So my guess is, if you didn't tell anybody, back in 1959, that you would get this and have yourself a CB, you'd be on 11 meters, but still have something that looked like an amateur radio. Back to you for transmission. Great radio, and it sounds great. I hope you can watch the replays, because it's a good deal.
Okay, I can't wait. Hello. Yeah, it's still only getting about half a watt. Yeah, you mentioned ham radio. This thing also can be a ham radio. Right here in the manual, all you have to do to convert this from 11 meters to 10 meters AM is put in the right crystal with the right crystal frequency, and then you have to retune the transmitter. And poof, you have a 10-meter AM radio with whatever crystal or crystals that you have available. So, yeah, it wasn't an either-or kind of situation, or it is an either-or. You could do both. So thanks for letting me check it in and spend so much time with it. I haven't checked it in for quite some time because it's very weak and doesn't always work very well. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week when it's probably going to be a little warmer. See ya.
All right, as they say, thanks for stopping by. And yeah, for a conversion radio, this is perfect, because you don't have to do a thing to the receiver. It's already there. It's made for it. So the transmitter is just the crystal, and then going inside and adjusting it so it likes the different frequency. I have yet to talk to anybody on 10 a.m. up at 29 and the 2900 window up there, even on 70. Well, I guess for 10. On one of these, I've heard Cardi phones. I've heard the E.F. Johnson 225s, the Viking white faces moved up to there, but never a Hammerland, the 105. So it should be easy to do. Might have to try that sometimes. All right, thanks for jumping in there. Radio number one with the Hammerland HQ 105TR. I want to say hello to who's joined us on the list here. San Ramon is still in. Oh, well, beautiful, snowy, cold Lake Almanor. Mark 4799 is giving you thumbs up and some good vibes on the Hammerland. And Frank from Yellow Springs, Ohio is checking in as well. And somebody asked me the antenna I'm using. I'm using an old Starduster. I was reading about quarter wave up, and then the drooping elements, and a comparison chart between a 5/8 wave and a 3/4 wave, and depending on where you are and what you do, and all of that. The little quarter wave really does a good job. The Starduster looks kind of unassuming, but when you realize there's not much trickery to it and it's a quarter wave with some radials, you get in the right spot and it does well. Let me take a break. Jingle Singers will do what the Jingle Singers do, and then we'll be listening for your radio check-ins on the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we're looking for radio number 2.
Now we'll do this one maybe.
We can do that one over.
And as I'm sitting here, might as well do it. Okay, this is an R27S23. It is my radio, but not the one you used to hearing me on. This one has been promised to somebody else here in Fresno, but if he or they don't get a hold of me soon, and I've left messages, I guess it'll go somewhere else. Anyway, R27S23. Right now, no microphone. Excuse me. This mic is the one from my Golden Beagle. Anyway, it's got the extended ping cap in it, so that it's got a little bit longer ping. Receives quite well. I'm just finishing it up. I had to stop because right now I don't have the use of my right arm. I had some surgery done. So you can call me Lefty for a while. Anyway, I still have to put a couple of caps in it, but and that's in the transmitter, and the transmitter is doing quite well. So I'll still put them in anyway. Ed's radios, there's a Heathkit GW22. I think it's 4 or 5 channels. Comes with its own mic that's wired in. Under $100, negotiable. Hammerlin 212 comes with its own wired-in mic. Very good shape. By the way, they both have channel 11 in them. Under 100, negotiable. Excuse me. Then a Johnson Messenger 223 with a Silver Eagle desk mic. Silver Eagle mic, which is in very good shape. It doesn't have the stock mic, which you can find on eBay if you want one. This is what comes with it, so it's going to go for a little over $100, figuring you're getting a Silver Eagle mic. So that, and then a Browning R68T68 Golden Eagle radio, the Mark 1 or Mark None, comes with a really good working, at least I believe so, banana mic. Now, need to give me about a week or so to get my arm rehabbed so I can use it, get stuff up on the bench. But, so they're not going anywhere as of right now. But, so they're all available. Anyway, get a hold of me and I'll give specific prices for them. The Browning is going for around $200, and that's with a banana mic. And that's in pretty good shape. So, by pretty good shape, I mean, it's in good shape except where you put it in the stand. It usually gets scraped there, and this one has gotten scraped there. But other than that, it's in good shape. Okay. So anybody that wants to know more in-depth pricing, get a hold of me. My phone number, Dennis has, other people have, and then we'll go over it. Okay. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you, Harvey. We've got the radio checked in on to the list. Just wanted to let people know. I was showing the transmitter receiver. Receivers on the bottom, transmitters on the top. And with the 180, which I believe, how did they sell that? Was that a business band amp? How were they able to actually sell that? Just call it a business band amplifier and it's, not for use on the 11-meter Class D part?
That's how I believe they did that. They said business band amplifier, not for use on 11-meter band. Something like that. Anyway, there was something else I was going to mention, but then I forgot. Okay, I'll remember before the show. Well, wait, it's getting close. Well, I don't have my watch on. Let me see what time it is. Oh, getting close. Okay, thank you, Dennis.
All right, well, we got plenty of time, taking a little extra time with the radios here tonight, and you just never know. All right, thank you, Harvey, for checking in and giving us the update on the radio items of interest. We'll have to get together and compare your sling with my sutures and see how the two old guys are doing. Anyway, you're looking good. We are listening for any and all check-ins, especially the radio check-ins. The jingle singers are excited about what's going on tonight.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz.
on your dial. That's
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
in wonderful
Fresno, California.
One more brownie.
Is this the one more Browning frequency? I think it is. Go ahead and check it in. I'll see if I can got a shot in the Rolodex here.
I will do it quick because it's a little hard to do this. This is the Golden Beagle by Browning Lavatories. My R68 T68. Anyway, we'll let it go at that. And then, Cliff, it sounded great. I actually heard you through the skip earlier in the day, but you must have left the radio. I heard you, but then I had to reach around with one hand and turn the power supply on, the modulator on, and by the time I got all that done, you had left the patio. Okay, but I heard you through the skip. Okay, thank you, Dennis. Catch you next week. Oh, wait, next week I might be actually working if my hand and arm are working well enough, so I might be out of town. Okay, catch you all later. Thank you.
All right, you'll be one of the unknown SWLs at the time, but we should be here. Thanks for the Browning. This was the radio that came out from Browning after the Eagle. Earned the name Golden Eagle, although I think the other... Just before you go, if you're looking for gold, is there more gold in this set than they had in the Eagle and the R27, S23? Are they about the same color?
Depends on how you look at it. This one had gold around the meter bezel, gold in a gold eagle on the speaker, and gold in the speaker mesh. The the R27 has kind of a goldish grill and some gold interlay in the knobs, as does the T68 and R68. But I don't know. I'm not going to rip them apart, melt it down, and measure it.
There you go. And I think the bezel kind of sets it off, makes it a bit fancier. And this was 1967 or 68. The prices, it hadn't hit that little inflation thing at the end of the 60s. So these were still available for under $400, like $395. And the price I don't think it increased that much from the 64s, or from the 65, 66 version of the R27 S23. So probably the last of the semi-affordable Brownings. I'm not sure how close it is to the Mark II inside, but probably the best deal all around. Plus they had the speaker accessory with the nice wood case, and then the nice wood case where you could combine the transmitter and the receiver all together, and you could get both of those for $50. So still looking good in the mid-60s for your American-made radios. Thanks, Harvey. We got it checked in.
14.
Sangertown is looking good. Were I to have a beam, I'd be pointing it your way, but your signal is loud, so I don't even need to do that. Hello, Sean. Thanks for joining us, and I bet you've got Radio 4. Over.
Yeah, I've got Radio 4, and glad to hear Harvey's moving around. It didn't sound like he's swinging that D104 around like he typically does, but I'm sure in a week he'll be back to that. I'd like to check in my Robin T123. It's kind of dark in here, on the amplified D104 desk mic.
All right, boy, I thought you were on the Demco. That is really loud. And make sure I've got the right item. It's a T123 Bravo, right?
That is correct, with the modulation tube, which is functioning away here, and the pretty green color. I just love the case on this radio. This is one that I recently acquired from the collection of Ed. And really a nice radio. Glad to have it.
Super loud. This was the Panasonic 2 chassis, and I believe one of the reasons it's so loud is it's producing plate modulated YAM, as Tim Tron would say. And for that chassis, it's top of the line. They brought out all the little extra pieces and lights and knobs to make it work. And looking good with the way you've got it set up in the audio department. I think the only complaints I ever hear about that radio is it runs hot. So I'm not sure if yours is the same way, if it's been up long enough that you can't touch the top, but it looks good and sounds good. Over.
Well, I just felt of it, and it's been on for hours, and it's not as hot as the Cobra Cam 88 gets. It does have a beautiful chassis because it's all copper. It's the only radio I have like that. And like I said, I just really like the color of the case and the modulation tube, of course. That's such a beautiful thing to see it winking away at me.
Yeah, it's got plenty of modulation to keep it happy. My Regency Imperial was like that. You could sit in there and see the thing kind of flashing at you. I mean, a good flash, and let you know that you are on the air. 1972 to 1976, these were manufactured, of course, put out of business, if you will, from the 40-channel addition from the FCC in 1976, where it wasn't even legal to sell a 23-channel radio, but Robin and Panasonic were able to fix and put 40 channels in, 11 tubes. What is that? 12AX7 is the modulator mic preamp. Working pretty good. 6 BQ5 RF power amp. And various items of interest. If you go to oldtuberadio.com, I think that's the site. There's an operator's manual on a PDF. There's a schematic on a PDF. But I don't think you need... you probably don't need either of those because you're sounding good. Over.
No, this one's pretty easy to figure out, but the Dimco satellite and the Browning, the Mark IV, it has labels. The Mark III's all worn off. You kind of got to know your way around a CB radio to operate that, but this Robin is user-friendly and a nice color. If I possibly had a wife, it might be allowed in the house, but since I don't, it's right here in the living room, and I just love looking at it.
Well, by this time, 72, 73, they were starting to make the radios with wood cases or the blackout faces where it might look like a piece of stereo gear, or as you noted, and Robin did this with their 240D, a nice color coordination on the front and the knobs where it might actually go with something. So bring it in the living room on the doily and turn it on after you watch Jackie Gleason or Red Skelton or the Jack Benny program. Radio number 4, the Robin T-123B, as in Bravo. Back to you for transmission. It really does sound good. Hope you can listen to the replay.
Yeah, I will be listening to the replay. Thanks for the flowers, and hello to all the SWLs out there listening tonight. Thanks for the time for the Robin T-123.
60.
And you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's pick up 60 before we go anywhere else. Hello, Joe. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. I guess we're all out of football. Is there anything to watch on television then? Over?
You might try Jackie Gleason. You might get a better chance of finding Red Skelton than football. Football's done. It's over with, except Fresno State, I think, is trying to kick something up. So it may be pretty soon here. I know baseball season's rolling around, and a lot of people are really into that. For the World Series, for the Super Bowl, I hope everyone got their wishes, their dream come true there with the Eagles winning. Dennis, I'd like to check in my Robin 123B, and I'd like to congratulate Sean there. Yeah, he sounded beautiful up this way. Doggone it, he was really doing my meter right on this end. And Dennis, we are on the original Robin stock mic. We went ahead and hooked it up, and if it sounds good, I'm probably thinking about putting this mic, this D104 on another radio. We've got a lot of radios here that could use a mic.
Well, I'll tell you, whatever combination that Sean is doing, I don't see how you could get any louder or any better with that. Showing the radio once again, it has, and you told me, and I don't remember, they were capable of doing 12-volt DC, meaning you could run them in the mobile, and a lot of them came with a mobile bracket, or in the case that you might be doing, using it as a stand to tilt the radio up a little bit. Just wondering if you have that mobile bracket. Over.
No, unfortunately, nothing like that came with the radio. This I purchased off of a friend there. You know who I'm talking about. That'd be King Kong. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember his number, but we got this off him. It was his little pride and joy there, but I had no use for it, and we took it off his hands. And the mic itself is just a little bitty one. It looks like a little tangerine, but it is the original mic, and it says Japan on the back, but it is Robin.
I've got a picture of the box and the microphone, so there it is compared to the box and the radio. It's doesn't have a big opening in the front. So the sonar microphones, if you recall, I don't think you have a sonar, but they have this huge diaphragm, or whatever the ceramic element is. It's huge, and this is definitely small. Sometimes you wonder why these manufacturers have such a great sounding radio and then give you a little plastic microphone in the box. But it keys up the radio. It doesn't sound bad, and it works. And just so you know, on the box, 5-watt, 22-channel Citizen Band radio. It says the looks and performance of tomorrow by the designers and engineers of today. So it's a good thing, and it's still working in the 21st century.
Well, thank you much, Dennis. We appreciate that, and we're going to leave the mic on it from here on. Like I've said before, I keep repeating myself, but the originality is really important on these radios. I like to hear and see the more original stuff on the radios than all the doodads that we put on them now to make them blast. These radios, their beauty is in the originality. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. A lot of people had this chassis, whether it was the Robin or not, but there were a lot of Robins out in the day, probably in the $200 range when it first came out, and 23 channels, and it was modifiable. You might find a couple that have, and I think you've got one on yours, a couple of switches that will allow it to go up to those yet unnamed frequencies above 23 channels. Sounding good. The Old Tube Radio Network, over to the Jingle Singers. We'll be counting and amounting, but there's still time if you'd like to get a radio in before we leave the air tonight.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR.
Let's do some adding.
27.085 megahertz.
What do they amount to?
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
Radio.
Old Tube Radio.
All right, I couldn't find the microphone key. You caught me counting the numbers here. Hello, Joe. In the radio room, you've got the coax up to another item of interest. Tell us what you got, and we'll get it on the list. Over.
Thank you much, sir. Dennis, we'd like to key up our 223 Johnson Messenger.
E.F. Johnson, Messenger. We finally had a radio that beat out Edgar F. Johnson today. He started in the mid-20s, I think, 1923, because they're just over 100 years old. And the Hammerland Corporation, Oscar Hammerland from 1910. So setting the way for these stations to come in. I want to put up a shot here of the 225. A lot of people know this radio a little bit earlier than the Robin, 1968 to about 1972. So when the T123B came out, these were off and not being produced anymore, but sounding just as good and surviving just as well as the Robins. Take a transmission, over.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. And I'm glad you didn't say anything about the microphone, and that was what I was waiting for. This is the original microphone to this Robin. And doggone it, I hope it's working okay. As you know, it's not a power mic. It looks similar to the Turner Plus 2, but it's not a power mic. And we've got to rely on our vocal cords to get this one operating. But it seems to be registering fine, but I don't know what the tone is like on your end.
The tone is great. It's not overmodulated. It's not mushy. There's no room noise coming in. Fidelity is good. Frequencies are good. That's why we like this radio. It's hard to make it sound bad with as long as your impedance matches right with any microphone you choose. And of course, it's an E.F. Johnson transmitter, so it's you can make it sound pretty dynamic with the proper microphone combination. So you're doing good, over.
We appreciate that, because this is off of a diesel 3. I think it was a 3.4. I think it was a stock mic. It was a stock mic, and we took this element, put it on this microphone here to get this one going, keep the originality, like I said before, going. And we're just hoping that it's good on your end. 10 tube. Well-lit little radio, and we sure appreciate you let us check this in.
They knew how to do it well back in the day. This was, of course, the accumulation of all of their radios starting in late 58, 59, where I said, let's put everything. Let's give them all 23 channels, no crystals to buy, put in the S meter, and do what we've been doing so well for the last 10 years, and it sold well. And this time, 68, 69, they were also one of the first manufacturers to come out with the smaller solid state radios to go with this base station. It just made sense to have the nice big tube base plug into the wall, but if you wanted to be in the mobile, to go solid state. There is a schematic, old2radio.com, John Messenger 223 PDF of the schematic, or if you've got the library of the Sam's photo fax, look for your volume 23 and turn to page 53, and you've got it. Thanks, Joe, for bringing it by.
Thank you much, Dennis. And we're going to say evening time to all the fellas out there. And we're going to bid you a good night, Dennis. Good show.
All right, it's a good net when we get people like yourself checking in, and that's why we are here. And what we have been doing on a Saturday evening since the mid-1980s, I kid you not, we just wanted to have a place to come by, and it's the similar to the old cars, the fins in chrome. What do you do on a Friday night? Drive them to the hamburger stand so people could come by and take a look at the cool stuff. Same thing we're doing here on the old Tube Radio Network. Started with people on Channel 11, and as technology grew and the 21st century happened, we added the audio streaming and some video streaming as well to put up the pictures if you hadn't seen them before. And like Art mentions, the vintage rigs are great. And we're, just like the cars, we're glad that our tube radio operators are, having the real estate in their house, in the shelving, whatever, to keep these things up and running, and to take the time and the expense to have them as a collection, and then sneaking away from whatever they're supposed to be doing on a Saturday evening to share them with us. And my very first radio was a Radio Shack Navajo, TR-23B. It was the one before they came out with the Delta tune on it, and I kicked myself as a high school student. I was going to buy a Fan and Fanfare XM 2300, and it was tubes, and someone talked me out of buying the radio. Said, you don't want those old tubes, and so I ended up getting the solid state Radio Shack radio, and I think that was in late 1970. But here is 2025, and we're talking about the tube radios because they were well made and worked well. Counting and amounting, I am the jingle singers doing what they do best, and if you've got a radio, we'll get it in here. If not, we'll look for you next week.
You're tuned to
OTR.
your dial read
Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Quickie 14.
All right, let me get the tube radio list out because we are, as the jingle singers said, staying modern. We'll take the quickie, and 14, don't go away because you will be next. Quickie, go ahead.
Thank you much, Dennis. Before I get on out of here, the little pretty blue radio is staring me in the face here. I'd like to check in from World Radio Labs. My Hustler base, 7 tubes, 8 channels.
I am finding the photo so I can bring it up because not a lot of people are familiar with the Hustler, but they might be familiar with the WRL, World Radio Labs, especially if they're amateur radio operators and they know Leo Meyerson, and maybe they've got the 100-pound Globe King 500 transmitter. Well, back in the corner somewhere in the factory, they said, maybe we can make an 11-meter Class D radio and not tell anybody, but put the WRL on it. And make it 7 tubes, put it in S-meter, a couple of channels, make it crystal controlled. The FCC will love us. And if we make it nice, looking, maybe it'll wind up in the house, too. Take a transmission.
Well, you can't go wrong, Dennis. You can't go wrong with it because, I mean, it's a desirable little radio. For any corner that you have available, it will fit. It does have the carrying handle, does have the mic hardware on it, and it's a nice little radio. Thanks a lot for letting me check this one in, Dennis.
And thanks for bringing it by. This has become a fan favorite, mainly because they're just so hard to find in any type of shape, and they probably didn't make that many, and especially under the WRL. But Globe did make quite a few 11-meter style radios, but this is one of our favorites, and we are glad you guys bring it by. Sometimes with the blue microphonium, sometimes without. What microphonium are you using tonight?
I'm on the +3, Turner +3.
All right, perfect choice. The radio works it well, not flat topping. It handles the extra audio with, not a peep. Thanks for bringing by Radio 6 from World Radio Labs, the Hustler. Speaking of hustling, 14 out in Sanger has hustled up us another radio. Probably be our last one tonight, radio number 7. Let me move over to this portion of the desk, and we'll say, go ahead. Hello, Sean.
Well, hello, Dennis. It's not going to be Radio 7, but I had it plugged in, and we were talking, I heard you saying the switch to transistor solid-state radio, and this is the Messenger 250, the 50th anniversary solid-state Johnson Messenger radio with a gold desk mic with custom Turner +3 guts. Harvey gave me this microphone, and I was just curious to hear how it sounds on the air tonight, and just wanted to stop by real quick with this.
All right, I'm glad you did. I have a photo. It's not coming up. I'll see if I can put it on for people. There it is. Okay, the Messenger 250 looked similar in style to the 223, and as they started transferring to solid state on their mobile radios, this was probably something they had to do. There it is. It's more of the one I'm showing here sort of has the wood grain. I'm sure it's not wood, but the wood grain front. Am I looking at the right radio?
Yeah, that's the radio, and it has a 50th anniversary logo on the speaker grill. And the really cool thing is the matching desk mic with the gold head and the Turner +3 guts stuck inside there to make it amplified.
All right, looking for a shot to see if we had something with the microphone that you have, and I don't see it on there. I'm surprised. The 250, yeah, okay. But anyway, it sounds good. It's got good audio, so take another transmission. It is set up well. It's not over-modulated. Doesn't sound mushy, not a lot of background noise going on, so I think you've got it set up good. Over.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the time tonight, and I'm looking forward to the replay. So everybody have a great evening, and SWL 14 signing out.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. That is the 250, and they had the anniversary edition and some other ones of that, portions of that radio. But that was a good deal. Those are all in the mid to low $200 range. Just before the big price increase on just about everything in the late 60s and early 70s. So if you were looking to get into CB radio, and a lot of people were. Just before, there might have been 1 million, 2 million, not 4 million like it was in the mid-70s, but a nice radio to have. The Old Tube Radio Network, we're counting and amounting, and we'll be right back for the totals. And the jingle singers will help me out here with the fanfare. We can get some counts and amounts.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
All right, this will be the current and final OTR totals. Checking the audio here. It looks like we're still 6-7, 125% on the peaks. The negative peaks occasionally there, but not distorting thanks to the audio decorrelators and all the other trickery that we are doing. Let me see if I can get the right mode here. That's what I'm looking for. I want this one right here. Your radios tonight. First, let's check in with the shortwave listeners. We had 21 check-ins on page 2, 20 on 21 on page 1, 20 on page 2, 20 on page 3, and 20 on page 4. For a total of, what does that make, 81? And of course, as we always say, you don't have to be on any list to join us and let us know what's going on. If you do have a tube radio, you are definitely encouraged to check it out. Make sure it's firing up, that the smoke coming out of it is a good kind. And then what we do best is when you check it in and turn it on, we can help you out with microphones or little hints and kinks, as the QST magazine might say, and get it on the air, because they should be on the air every now and then. That's why we're here every week, 8 p.m. Pacific time on 27085 Channel 11, the call channel that just about when you find any old radio, even if it's only got one crystal in it, it's probably going to be Channel 11. Most heard radio manufacturer tonight, a tie between the Browning Laboratories, and the Robins, but we had some great check-ins, starting off with the Hammerland HQ 105 TRC with the clock. The true shortwave radio, the Hammerland HQ 100, that they figured out how to put a little transmitter in it for 10 or 11 meters. And very unusual. Nice to have that in tonight. Thank you, Cliff, for that. The Browning Eagle R27S23 from Harvey, the first of the Brownings to grab the name Eagle back in 1984. That was followed by the Golden Eagle from a few years later with the separate transmitter and receiver, but the Brownings always had the same sound. You can always tell a Browning from the ping, of course, and if it's not, they did their audio, whatever it is, audio filtering so that the radio always sounded the same way, nice and loud. Robin T123B for Radio 4 out of Sangertown. Sean, you just don't believe how strong that radio is, how loud that radio is, the beefy audio, until you hear it played back. And Sean is out he's not in Fresno, he's way over there somewhere, and does a good job coming into here. He's got a great setup and an antenna system. Joe said, hey, let's make it another Robin, the T123B, and also from World Radio Labs, the Hustler tonight, and then as you heard, the I don't know if it was a golden anniversary edition, but it was the 250 from E.F. Johnson, their solid stated version of the Messenger 223, and a good radio to have around, even if it's not tubes, a daily driver for sure if you've got one. You heard how loud it is, and all 23 channels doing a good job. Thanks everybody from oldtuberadio.net, oldtuberadio.com. And here in the Central Valley of California, I see Edmund in Alberta has joined us. Hello to Peter and Albert and the boys up in British Columbia. I was listening in last night. Good conditions on 40 meters last night. I was kicking in at about 10 watts up into the Northwest Passage. Pretty fun. So, also, if you're studying to get your ham radio license, keep going. There's a lot of great things going on. So when you're done, or you just can't make a contact on 11 meters because there's 4,000 people, come up to 10 meters where there may be 40. And probably nobody on in the frequency you're going to call CQ on. You won't get a response. You'll think, how is this possible? I'm going to go back to 11 meters. Good night, everybody. 73, and we will catch you next week on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Once again, good night, Dennis.
All right, as we say, 72 plus 1. To put a radio up. What should we put up? How about the Robin? Since we had the most heard manufacturer tonight in the Robins. And the noise level just came up. Let's do the 123. Perfect. Oh, I didn't change the logo. It said we were testing all day. At least we were not slowed down. I think I fixed the pitch thing. I don't know how or what I did, but I think it's fixed. But that's famous last words. And no skip. I was surprised. Not even the mini grass came through. Wow, and that's the thump. That's if I go horizontal. Listen to that. That's crazy. And the bands are pretty quiet. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of the air chair. Go rest the neck here. Thanks, John. I will. I know a Charlie Alpha Tango that needs some treats, so I better go do that. All right, I gotta find the off button. It used to be so easy. Where did it go?